So, information about It's My Turn is at a website called jewelsofwellbeing.com. So www, and we can put it somewhere, Jewels, Jewels, Jewels of Wellbeing, all kind of together, all one word.com. My email is julie.little52@gmail. So for questions, but inside that website is a place to click for a chat, to get on the calendar with me and do a small chat about, which is better, individual or group, and, when can I start, that kind of thing. Now, to actually get a little bit more information and sign up is that Eventbrite link. And that tells you a little bit more the kinds of things that we talked about already. Is this you? It's sort of like qualifying you. Are you the person that's feeling depleted and trying to do too much and please too many people and being a caregiver and overwhelmed? And are you feeling anxious about the future and that kind of thing, and losing touch with who you are in the meantime? It has a little bit of information there on the Eventbrite one, and then you can click one of two buttons, and the two buttons are early bird price and regular price. So there is a cutoff date. I think it's coming up in about less than a week, a cutoff date for the price to be the early bird price. And then you just click on one of those and it automatically will give you a welcome and send me the information. I would love, though, to talk to people first before they do that and kind of find out where they are. So the scheduling with me, either through my email, that's fine, or through the Jewels of Wellbeing link for a chat with me, either way is great as a step, because there are personalities and issues and stuff that I'm absolutely sure I can help those people with. And then, what I would say to some people is, let's do the 12-week program. There's more to it. But it's also fine for someone to decide, well, I want to do the 5-week program first, and then maybe do it again, if I need more. So, but it is nice to have a chat with me and figure out what the specifics are for you. It's a Thursday evening, and I've tried to make it be early enough. I'm in Portland, Oregon, so I'm saying 6 p.m. on Thursday evening, and starting next week, that it'll always be. So that would be 8 p.m. Texas time, and it would be 9 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, going back to other countries. But that makes it sort of not too early and not too late across the country.
Yeah, it is tough when you have all these time zones, huh?
Yeah. And I used to only work with people I met in person at networking events, and now I've had 3 or so clients that I've met this way over Zoom in small groups, and it works. It works for us. The last group that I had, I had people in LA and people in Midwest at the same group, and they just had to, it works like this. So I've actually been amazed that we can do this and we can do it well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is a lot of benefits, I think, from doing it that way. I believe that it reaches people that keep putting it off from going in person.
Right.
It's
for
almost
whatever reason
more accessible. Like,
right.
Oh, I just hop on Zoom right here, and
yeah,
I can only get dressed. I can, get dressed from
that's right.
From the top up.
Yeah.
Fix my hair, and I can still
Oh my goodness. We're laughing because I woke up a little bit late this morning, and I said to Adiba, oh, thank goodness I only have to get dressed up from my upper half and I don't have to fully get ready for work, which is so funny, I think, when people say that, because that's where all the work takes place, is your upper half.
Yeah.
And that was like the first thought that came to mind. And I messaged her. I said, well, be careful you don't stand up or the camera falls or anything.
Yeah. In your pajama bottoms, right? Right. No, it's very inclusive and it's very easy, and I think that's nice. And we do get to know each other.
Yeah.
Obviously, from today, I'm getting to know you guys and Tanya, for the first time, and it's lovely. It's lovely. I wonder if you guys can think of any questions people might have about doing something like this, since they might not have met me. What questions might people have?
So one of the things I'd like to know is that, the classes are every, the sessions are every Thursday, like you were saying. And is it something where, throughout the week, are they able to check in? Is there like quote unquote homework? Is it something where like, let's work on this for the week and then we'll check in next week? I guess if you could just explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Tanya. I was a teacher for 35 years.
Yeah.
And so some people don't like the word homework, but
Mm-hmm.
in the 5-week program, there is like those topics that I went through. That's why I send the videos ahead of time, and they're very short. The videos are somewhere around 5 minutes each, and they just kind of a PowerPoint show the specifics of what I'm going to be asking for. And so some people do that as homework and some people don't, right? They're like, hey, I'm busy. That's the whole point. Don't you understand? I'm super busy. So they might look at it 2 seconds before we get on the call. Then the call can be Q&A and it can be coaching if they're prepared, but I'm happy to start from scratch if they're not. So I don't like for anyone to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have time for this. If it's going to be just an hour a week, you can do it in just that 1 hour. You can just sit there and say, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about that. Let me think now, and just say, well, okay, what comes to the top of my head is this is what lights me up. And then if you think about it, what I find is I still think about things in my mind, even when I'm not doing homework.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I taught 6th grade, I taught junior high for the last, 18 years. And those kids don't do their homework. It's
Right.
typical, homework is like a joke. It's like, yeah, you're giving me homework here. Can I throw it in the trash already? So it doesn't need to be pressure, but it's just sort of on your mind that as I'm doing the dishes, like we were talking about, I want to do the dishes. Is this a thing I do to honor myself because I use it as a meditation? Or is this something that maybe I could delegate to the kids? Do I have old enough kids that they could do the dishes? I mean, you start thinking throughout that week about those topics. And by the end, it all sorts of comes together to be a roadmap. So as far as support in between emails and the Facebook group, the Facebook group, I would say that you can be in the It's My Turn Facebook group and ask each other questions, or you can email me.
Okay.
And
Great.
people do that.
Yeah, I love the Facebook group for support. And I think that's definitely one of the positive things that one of the positive things that has come out of COVID, because I think moving forward, it's going to be before COVID and during COVID, but now after everything's going to be in relation to COVID.
Yeah.
Right? But one of the positive things is just how open we are. And, I definitely always used to be that person that was like, oh, I like to meet people in person. I don't want to do anything. And now, like you said, we're able to reach people across the United States, around the world. Like who would have thought that we would be in, living in a society like this, and how much has changed, 3 or 4 years ago, if we thought that. It's just, I definitely try to look at it that way. It's just one of the positive things that has come out of our evolution, our transition.
That's right.
This.
That's
Mhm.
right.
What about if someone misses a week? How does that fit in?
That's a good question. There are the 5 topics. And so there can be like an option either way, let's say to just catch up on that topic, watch the video and come to the group question and the coaching prepared to, we have airplanes here, prepared to answer that question, just kind of like do extra homework kind of thing, like you might do.
That's all right. It's all part of life. We need that energy. of this airplane flying by.
Wow.
It is
And
pretty
also
loud.
an option to instead come to the group that will talk about that topic the next time around, because it is
Oh, okay.
it is going to be an evergreen group that can go out of order. Like you think about the inner guidance and the manifesting with gratitude, those things can stand alone. So let's say you had to miss a week, then you come the next time, or just you and I meet or whatever that one time to talk about that one thing. It doesn't have to be in sequence.
Okay, so if you would mind, like, just expanding on evergreen, because
Oh yeah.
I was just going to ask that. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, I didn't, there's so many meanings to that word. So in this case, for a group setting, I'm going to start next week with whoever starts the program on that day. And we're going to do, 1 through 5. But if someone came in the fall, or they came in, a week late, it just is going to keep going. It's going to be, continuous.
okay, so you can start and do the 5 weeks at any point. Just continue. Can you continue past the 5 weeks, or once you complete all 5 in whatever sequence, you're not you're done as far, you just be part of the group on Facebook, or are you able to continue to take them?
You would sign up again,
Okay, all right.
right? And so, and sometimes what I would think, and I don't know that I've had very many people do it this way, but you could do the individual program.
Okay.
If, let's say, you go through the group and it's kind of cool and fun and you like the community and you're like being with everyone, and then you realize, I really haven't gotten to talk about this issue in my life, then you might do a one-on-one group with me, the 6 weeks program. The
Okay.
6 weeks program is very similar, and it is individual. So it is all, time-wise, for there to be a whole hour and 15 minutes with just you and I, it's all about what you're dealing with and what your thoughts are and what you're struggling with and what you'd like to happen in your life, instead of being about everybody's,
Yeah.
in that group where you all take turns and share. And then the 12-week program is more, to me, for people who want to make this change or this transition or this shift be sort of a long-term new normal. That's kind of what we say about, having lived through these last few years. I want that to be my new normal. So when you finish a 5-week program or a 6-week program, you're kind of like, okay, I've got the right idea. I have a roadmap. I know what I'm going to do next, but it isn't quite yet, in that number of weeks, it isn't quite yet your new normal to live that way. But I really have found that people that do the 12 weeks, I recently had a client who was younger than I, have had before. And he did the 12 weeks, and he's still contacting me and telling me that the benefits are still going strong, rolling along here. I had this new thing come up in my life. I had to completely change everything, and it's still working.
That's awesome. These are all the little messages we get to say, yes, keep going.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's
Because
so good to hear.
those clients and people pop into your life and you're like, yes, keep going, keep going.
Yes. Yeah. It's very inspiring. Hello there, I am Julie Little. My business is Jewels of Wellbeing, and that's what I bring to you. And I work with busy women, and a lot of times they might be professionals, they might be teachers who are in a position of taking care of a lot of people and sometimes don't quite have it together to take care of themselves, and therefore feel depleted, exhausted, overwhelmed, maybe sometimes lost, maybe anxious, now a life coach. I recently got my Mind Valley certification through EverCoach, and that's my life coaching certification. So I'm also the author of a book, Light on the Pond Scum, and that's available on Amazon. You can look it up. If you look up the word book, don't look up things for your pond. I'm somebody that follows Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist Zen monk who passed away recently and has given us so much wisdom. So those are some of the things that have guided my mindfulness practice. And I'm a speaker. And so I go to these kind of events and also the summits and small women's groups in the neighborhood and many different places where I can meet and get to know people and inspire, if I can, for people to not shit on themselves and to go gently with themselves and learn that self-care can be your win-win. And I say to you, it's my turn, because It's My Turn is the name of my program. So that means that's not me saying that about me, although it is my turn, but it's also for you to say that out loud, because it is your turn.